So this is going to be my hashtag do you tour experience. So I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning and I got ready and I got picked up at like 8:30 by my uncle, and I was going, and then he drove up to the Eastridge Mall, and I was with my cousin Rena and her two friends, Melanie and Becky, and we got to the mall at like 9:30ish, and none of the stores were open yet, but the mall was. So as soon as we got there, we saw the glass door, and it had like a thing, sticker wall poster thing, and it said, to we won the Do You tour. So then we ran up to the door and we tried to peel it off, but it was hard to peel off. So then my cousin saw like those like poster holder thingies, and she decided to take out the poster from it. So yeah, and then hers was laminated. So then we like ran around trying to find our own posters, and then the ones we got, Becky, Melanie, and I, ended up being paper. So we were fine with that because then it'd be easier for them to sign. So then yeah, and then we went down to the Starbucks, that the place they were going to be at, and then behind that Starbucks was their little stage, and then my cousin Rena decides to take another poster. So then in all we have one for me, one for Melanie, one for Becky, and two for Rena. So that's five, and then such a struggle, but it was good because we got to like save each other's seats with them. And then by the time we got there, everyone was like, "Oh my god, my phone's gonna die!" So then, thank God, there was an elevator like right behind the stage, and there were like power outlets there. So we sat there, and we all charged our phones. Like we took turns watching, and the security guard lady was so annoying. She's like, "We have power outlets for you on the floor," and I was like, "Okay." So then I moved all of our stuff, and there wasn't even power outlets on the floor. So rude. Anyways, and then we waited. So then at about 11, Becky, Rena, and Melanie decided to go get food at the food court. So they went, and then by that time, Monica and her sister were there. She's Melanie knew her, Melanie and Becky. So then I met her, and then yeah, so we waited, and then they brought down the food. And we had chicken teriyaki with the rice, and we're just sitting down. I was sitting down on the floor in front of the stage eating. I never felt so ratchet in my life. But yeah, and then by like 11, like their crew was there, like setting up everything. So like they were getting more and more anxious, and it started at 1. Yeah, so then by like 12-ish, like they were all there already. And they were just in their little tent thing, and Layla was talking.
Alright then.
She threw out stuff. Yeah, and I'll take a picture of what I got. And then I got a boombox thing too, but then I lost it. So that sucks. But yeah. And then so we weren't even far from the stage. It was like us, and then there's like a barrier, and then they're like right there. So we're really close. And I'll insert a picture of how far we were. And then they got on like basically 1 o'clock on the dot, and then they sang, obviously, and they danced, and they did 2 or 3 songs, I think, and then they ended pretty early, and then they're like, "We're not done yet, we're gonna have a meet and greet." So we stayed in line for the meet and greet, and then Rita and I go all the way in the back, basically, because we're from where we're sitting, we're right next to the meet and greet line, but then we got pushed. The pushing was so bad, honestly. And then so we got pushed, and then we moved like all the way to the back, and then she was calling Becky and Melanie to find out where they were, and then we found them. So then we moved, and we're a lot closer. Say hi.
Stop.
All right then, and then we're a lot closer. So then, yeah, the wait was about 10-20 minutes. It wasn't that bad because time went by really fast. So then we took turns. So then it was Melanie and me first, because Melanie wanted to take a video of her and Jason, and then it it was Monica and her sister, because Monica wanted her sister to take pictures for her, and then it was me and Becky, and then like things went by fast, and then like Becky was like, "Can you take a picture of me?" And I was like, "Okay," and then I was shaking so bad. I'll insert my pictures, and yeah, I asked all the boys for a kiss on the cheek, and you're so annoying. Yeah, and then they gave me one. And I didn't give them hugs because I really, really wanted the picture because I haven't seen them since like my birthday 2 years ago. So I was really anxious. And yeah. And then after we got out, Becky and Melanie started bawling their eyes out. And I was like, oh my God. So by the time we got out, it was like 2:30, I believe. And we were just like sitting there lounging around. I was charging my phone. And then we're just waiting. And then we saw Layla and we're like, hey, Layla. And then we got selfies with her. And I was like, hey, can you give the boys these bracelets? I made them because I made them loom bracelets and they were still on my wrist by the time I got out of the line. I was like, oh man. And she was like, yeah, of course, in her cute little accent. And then she was like, is there any specific one you want to give them? I was like, no, there's, and then I was like, no, that, just give them whichever. And she's like, how about I just steal these? And I was like, whatever you want. So then she's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And then I was waiting for like, well, we were all waiting for something to happen. I don't even know. I thought sounded like my phone was vibrating. Um, so yeah, like after the meet and greet, we just stood around, taking pictures, yelling at them, and yeah, and then um, my uncle ended up showing, or my uncle showed back up because he left us, like to go hang out with his friends. We were fine with that because we could take care of ourselves. We were teenagers, and yeah, and then and then this cute old lady comes up, and then um, she go. I don't know what happened, but like I was just sitting down charging my phone, and then she walks up with like a piece of little binder paper, and then she talks to, I think she talks to one of their crew, and then they like they let her like go through where the boys are, and um and then next thing you know, she ends up on stage with them and they're singing, and it was so cute. And it was her birthday, so then we sang her happy birthday. I'll insert a video. It was really cute. And she ends up kissing Jason on the lips, and uh, Melanie starts crying again. She's like, "Aw." Yeah, it was really cute. And then the boys took pictures with her, and they like serenaded her, and it was really sweet of them. And oh, and then before she leaves, um, she gets a shirt, sticker, wristband, and a signed picture. And then she's like, "Hey, can you sign my binder paper?" Because she had a little binder paper. And then Jason's like, "Oh, okay." And Jason was so sweet to her. And then she wanted him to sign the back of her sticker too. And then yeah, Jason was just like out of all of them, because she was next to Jason like the entire time, and she kissed him on the lips. So then like Jason was just like extra sweet to her, and yeah. And then we're still at the mall waiting for something to happen after that, and I go back to sit down. Um, I go back to sit down and charge my phone because it was about to die. But like, thank God I didn't run out of storage, because every time there's like a concert or something, I always run out of storage. And my mom comes. Yeah, I'm taking a video. Okay, so before I was interrupted by my mom, I was talking about um, how I was sitting down when I was charging my phone, and then um, I was just sitting down on the floor like a ratchet, charging my phone. And when we met Layla before, I was like, "Hey, can you give the boys these bracelets because I forgot to give them to them?" And she's like, "Oh, does it matter who gets which one?" And I was like, "No, it's fine because there's three and there's three of them." So yeah, and I was just sitting there, and then they go, "Giselle, they're wearing your bracelets. And I'm sitting down on the ground and I slide and I'm like, no, they're not. And then they're like, yeah, they are. And the first person I see is Jason, because Jason's at the end and he was the closest. So I look at like his right arm, because I think it was on his right, and I saw a yellow and green bracelet, and I was like, I did not make that for him. And they're like, yeah, you did. And I looked closer and I was like, oh yeah, I did. Because can you not do that with your foot? Because I forgot, like, yeah, because I was gonna do like 3 different colors of blue for them, but then I didn't have 3 different blues, so then I did 3 greens. And I think Jason had the green and orange. Oh, it was green and orange, not green and yellow. And then Mikey had the green and yellow, and then Madison had green and blue. And then at the very end, when I wanted to go again to see them, but I couldn't because I like found a wristband. It didn't work because the security guard was like, "These 2 girls are the last girls in line," and I was like, "But I have a wristband." And he's like, "So?" And I was like, "Okay then." And then I go, I stand in front of Madison with my. I had my uncle's 5S because I have a 4S, and it was gonna die. So then he let me borrow it, and I was like, "Madison, and then I was like, I made that bracelet for you, and he's like, oh, which one? And I said, the blue and green one. He was like, oh, really? Thanks. And I was like, welcome. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. And then we followed them. We waited until they're all done, and we followed them to like the escalators, and that's it. Because then the security guard blocked us off. So yeah, we were gonna follow them because we heard their tour bus broke down. So everyone's like, "Oh, they came in a minivan," and yeah, we wanted to like follow the minivan, but we didn't. We just after they went up and then we couldn't find them, we left. And then we got something to eat, and then we got Jamba Juice. And then I got dropped off at my mom's work because that's where Rena's mom was, because our parents worked together. And yeah. So that was my TV1 tour experience, and it was pretty crazy, but in the end it was all worth it because I got to meet the boys. I got pictures of them and I got stuff signed. So I got this sign and that and my phone case. This video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you have any questions or anything, put it down in the comment section. And my PCD is like so real already, and like, yeah, it was a really fun experience, and like I'm really fortunate that it was all free, because a lot of the time like things like that weren't free. So yeah, I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to meet them, and I hope whoever's watching this has the opportunity to meet them too.